Greetings to my dear Aquarius. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. Yeah, welcome. So this has to do with the energy of Aquarius, Saturn being strong, as well as the co-ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is here as well. Essentially, technological advancement through systematic reform. That is essentially the energy of Aquarius, as well as the humanitarian ideal that comes from despondency on the evolution towards extraterrestrial forms of psychical or perhaps psychological advancement, forms of detachment, and new forms of love that have not yet been introduced. Compassion, 11th house, as well as systems and societies that have to do with higher minds, higher thinking, as well as globalization, and as well galacticization, as well universalization. These are all aspects of Aquarius that have to do with essentially the bringing of water in times of drought, in times of extreme Saturnian influence. All right. So we'll go ahead and build for you a bridge, my dear Aquarius. This is a bridge of action that comes from the ether. You may choose to walk it or not. It depends on what you choose, what you will to be. This is a mode of karma that may appear for you in September. It doesn't have to. If it does, please negotiate such such a flow. And then I will be going into the Great Mirror. The Great Mirror is a 9-card spread, and it moves. It moves accordingly through appearances, and I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute. Okay. Okay, it seems to me that from a place of detachment, you are retroactively tending to things that are currently within what you've created for quite some time now. This creation might be something that has to do with foundations or resources that you've built up that has a sense of a master plan or a method, especially with Virgo season coming up. There's something that you've lined up in terms of projects, and you're working hard at making that shit happen, which is fantastic. The energy of the sun is with you as well. The energy of Leo is with you. As you move forward, there is a possibility you will encounter something from the past that wants to return in terms of its influence. And it has to do with the master plan. Something about this situation essentially has a semblance of what you've been working on already. It's as if you've been through this path before. And as such, you want to find a way out of it, but it will come at a cost, bringing you more challenges if you take the wrong path of karma. If you take the right path of karma, whichever the righteous may be, you still will reach a type of conflict. The conflict is either between others or the conflict is within yourself in finding the challenge to move towards an element of freedom through the mental clarity of such things, being able to really understand the connection with this other that influences you to this day, and how that has to do with essentially moving on and rejecting old negative emotional patterns from the past. But the trick is to doing so without looking like you have done so out of pride or arrogance. That is the trick. You want to look like that you've done the right thing. Okay? Know that morality can also be an illusion. Aspects of wrong or right may be quite subjective according to that which wears the crown of truth, whatever or however shiny it may be. So you're on the path to essentially some sort of realization. The 66 is here. Very strong empowerment cards here that come from tribulation. Tribulation from the past as well as memories from the past. Trying to sacrifice something in order to find a sense of understanding how you have socially contributed to this, or how the heavens have contributed to this in some way to evoke some sort of lesson for you to understand how to not appear as an arrogant person, or a person who does not care for the good being of others, the wellness of others. You want to find a way to peacefully resolve this in a detached way, which will help you. Okay. Now, by the way, I will be going through an extended to understand the intentions of the other, as well as their emotional well-being, as well as anything else that may crop up in terms of questions, question lines. Yeah, I'm working from my 1983 deck for you. In particular, this is a very dark and treacherous deck. It can be very treacherous. So we'll work with this energy and understand it to help build on the bridge. The Great Mirror will show you the energy of you, someone else, the object of your affection, and essentially the mirror between you two. Okay? All right, that's your energy. This is the energy of the object of your affection, your significant other, this past person, if they are a past person. I reckon they are. Okay. There's that challenge card again. Underscoring. This has to do with truth and discernment. Truth as well as understanding the judgment aspect, the final call, coming in and rising into power and making the choice of whether to let this past situation, the Seven of Pentacles, come back in, or perhaps to completely leave it. This person that you're dealing with has a flighty energy. They can be very detached like you are. In that respect, the fire you have for them, or the fire that you pull from this connection, helps you to motivate you in certain ways. It fuels, or you fuel it, according to your thoughts. And these thoughts create shifts or changes within them. They turn from air into water, and a romance evolves out of it. The soul connection here is pure. It has to do with rites of passage, as well as initiation and knighthood, that the Queen of Rods brings with the element of water here, the Knight of Cups. So they shift, but there also is a detached quality. Something about what they say or what they think about the connection cannot be totally expressed, but they still have the urge to give to you in some sort of way, and this urge is never ending. And you have a fire for them. You present to this a very steamy connection that is based on the soul or unconscious level. On the subconscious realm here, there's a co-creative aspect of trying to parlay or trying to create proper boundaries, but these boundaries constantly being crossed either by you or them. I would reckon it's more them, but then just simply your attention to them pulls them in very heavily, okay? So you have to mind what you think of, because these come into a form of action that is undeniable, and they desire that from you, and you desire much from them in terms of romance, or at least communication, but the communication is never totally from the inner core. There's something very detached about what they do or what they say. Also, there's something that they're dealing with in the external realm, outside of this connection, that has them on edge, and because of such, there's sort of an opening, and there's something that they want to protect you from knowing, okay? I'll go more into that in the extended, but it seems to me that they want to protect you from knowing something in both the subconscious and unconscious levels. Their attention is very much fixed to some other agency here, but they still want to essentially make some sort of peace offering or an offer here on the subconscious and unconscious levels. A needing to provide the transcript or the soul contract or something like that to legitimate something here has them at your feet in a way. You have a great deal of power or control over them. At the same time, right now your influence on them is quite heavy. You represent for them the wheel, la La ruota de la fortuna, which is essentially an element of um, uh, the the chaos or the order in the chaos. Okay, trying to understand forms and structures as well as understand labels, and you somehow rebel against this, and because of such, there is a great pull that you have on them that has to do with about a reeling in of certain energies from them. It's very interesting. At the same time, the the creative force that you have, it creates it creates a sort of conservative aspect within you that has to do with you conserving yourself and your energies. And as you spin in this way, there is something about it that has to do with something new that is coming, but has not yet. The timing hasn't been right. So in some ways, they may be projecting onto you some element of corruptedness, or someone who is hungry for power, which may be just an illusion, but it's something that you have control over in terms of this. You know how to control your resources or know when the timing is right in order to create new projects or new collaborations with or without this person. And also there is a sense because of that you may come off as someone who is very powerful indeed, going through their own rite of passage and rising into some form of power at the same time. There's a need to distinguish and to let loose some of the projections that they may have been casting on you. Okay, there's a very cold aspect that I think they want to become cold, and you want to maybe see this as some sort of karmic negative, is some sort of thing that needs to be set aside and cast aside completely. But then again, there is a need to negotiate, or at least to understand the boundaries that need to be set in place here. Okay, the desire is strong, though. It's a very interesting interplay. Now, on the conscious level, here the Four of Rods is here, and you know what? This Four of Rods is interplaying with the Nine of Rods. There is tension here, and perhaps there is something that you, it's not that you're heartbroken, or perhaps it's perhaps that you have a great deal of fire to offer this person. You catapult them into ways of being, or perhaps they represent for you something that you've been waiting for quite some time, in terms of they enthrall you in some sort of way. The tension here is quite strong. Not only that, on the conscious level between you two, there is the Eight of Cups, having to do with some sort of emotional detachment, trying to get rid of that. But then on the soul level, pulling from that, there is an elusive quality to this energy that doesn't bode well for communications. Also, there's an additional aspect to it that might lead to the Nine of Cups, which is more emotional despondency. What I see here is a path that has to do with emotional connection that may or may not be something that's been in your life for very long. If it has, a great deal of the commitments as well as the emotional projections that you have had for each other essentially have created a sense of detachment, and you guys have had to separate in some sort of way. There's an aspect about you that needs to realize some sort of deep and hidden trauma that has to do with your heart space, and trying to heal from that in some sort of way. At the same time, they represent for you and for themselves some form of glory that perhaps you should try to walk. But you have to make the choice towards that if you really want to. I think you've made the choice, but your truths are double as well. Your hearts may be double, and there's something about this spinning of the wheel that has to occur that indicates some form of revolution or some form of change that has not yet appeared, and therefore projections of bad forms of karma because of impatience might emerge. Okay, very interesting and complicated story. Let me know if that resonates. I will go into an extended, and that will be available by email, so just look into my About section for that. Otherwise, I will see you in the mid-September readings for the three portals. And I do wish you the very best in terms of the pathwork you're going on. It seems very interesting because it's something that you, deep down, like there's something that you brought in about this person. They have a cold shoulder and they're very silent in a way, but they radiate the fire that you so desire. And also, there's something about you that has been burned by this person. Some element of karma is in play here, and you're trying to project, or perhaps both of you are trying to come to some sort of peace, but then it always turns into more tension. The extended will be available. Thank you very much. Bye bye.